What can
Thanks,
you tell us about the state of the clubs industry? Let's look at a situation where you're basically shut until November or December. What happens?
Well, we're under a huge amount of pressure already, Andrew. We're seeing clubs that are losing $1 million a week. That's the cost of closure. That's the cost of things like staff being on annual leave because they have to make ends meet. The money from the government just isn't enough. And if the government expects that we're going to be closed for another 3 months to hit 80% double vaccination, I'm telling them there is going to be Armageddon in the hospitality industry because we cannot survive 3 months of closure where government assistance just doesn't touch the sides.
All right. Well, the state government has the business supports. They've been slow to roll that out. The federal government has the income support. How is that comparing to the JobKeeper system, which I guess saved industry last year, both nationally at the start of the year and in Victoria later in the year?
Well, I'd agree with New South Wales Treasurer Dominic Perrottet, who said, let's bring back JobKeeper. It was an amazing program that had widespread support across the industry. It underpinned business operations. It allowed us to make a little bit of money when we were allowed to reopen. The program was great and it was easily accessible and it worked and people trust it. So why wouldn't we bring that back, especially if the government are thinking we're going to be locked down for another few months? And really, they should have a plan where they're telling us when we get to reopen. What is the signal? Because at the moment, what we're hearing is an 80% double vaccination target, which is several months off. And frankly, we just don't think the current support mechanisms are sustainable for that period of time.
Okay, what's the advantage of JobKeeper compared to the current systems? Can you spell it out for us?
So the way that it works is the money goes to the business rather than to the employee. And that means that when the business reopens, if you've got people who might be doing, say, maintenance work or cleaning or security, which are all costs ongoing now, even while you're closed, then the club or the business keeps that money rather than it not getting paid to the individual. And so it allows the business to make a little bit of money even while you're closed. That's the critical difference here. And so when you reopen, if you're still trading at less than at more than a 30% reduction to your normal rate, then you can make a little bit of money. And so it really supported profitability at a time when business was not profitable at all otherwise. And that's why it was just such a great program.
Why do you think the federal government's balked at this time?
Well, we did see some businesses that are operating quite well that were able to underpin their profits through the program. And whether that's Harvey Norman or some other big businesses, they did very well out of JobKeeper. The fact is they are continuing to operate now. They've got a huge advantage over hospitality, some segments of retail, where we're closed. We've been closed already for, I think it's 8 weeks now, and potentially looking at another 12. I mean, that is not sustainable. And to think that JobKeeper and government assistance would be going to businesses like Wesfarmers, which owns Bunnings and Coles, or going to Harvey Norman, which is doing huge amounts of trade at this time, that's not fair. So the support should be better targeted, but it doesn't mean write off a program like JobKeeper. It just means targeted better to businesses who need it the most.
Well, what sort of feedback are you getting from club owners at the moment? What are they saying to you? And can they see a situation where they only let in vaccinated patrons? Is that on the table?
Well, we will do anything to be allowed to reopen. We will open to just people who are vaccinated. We'll force everyone to wear masks, socially distanced. We'll do anything just to make sure that we can survive. Because the problem is, every club that I talk to has one job on their hands, and that is to work out how much cash they've got and how long that will last them during this period. And the problem is they do not know how long it's going to go in lockdown. So what we're seeing is them work out, have they got 10 weeks cash? Have they got 20 weeks cash? How much are they going to have left if they've got to eke their way through this situation? The bottom line for all of them, they're going to have a whole lot less money, and that means less investment in maintenance and improvements and employing people into the future. The economic impact of this in hospitality is real, and that's why we think that government support, look, it doesn't touch the sides at the moment, and so we need to either get more government support because we're going to be in this for a considerable period, or we need to be approved to reopen in a limited, safe way so that we can earn money like construction or like some in retail. What we're seeing is effectively COVID and government picking winners in business over others. And our industry is really suffering from these sorts of decisions because we're closed and we've got no option to make money at all.